Everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today's video is part 2 of my Lord of the Rings, the Fellowship of the Ring adaptation. So basically, this is all about how they changed the book into the movie, all the changes that they made in doing so. Now, first thing I want to say is there are going to be a couple spoilers. You might want to watch the first video. I'll make sure to put a link in the description to the first part. Um, and I'll have done this. I'll eventually do the same on the other video. This video wasn't initially intended to be 2 videos, but it went long. So, but first, let's get started. And the first thing I want to say is back to the whole thing in Rivendell with the council and everything. Back while they're in Rivendell, Aragorn's sword is forged. That's when Aragorn gets, I believe, that's what originally was Narsil, and I think it later became Undurl, something like that. Uh, I can't. I'm not entirely sure on the names. That it wasn't brought up enough times for me to remember it, but I definitely know it was originally Narsil, and it was reforged in Rivendell. That's when Aragorn got his sword back in the book. So, the movie he doesn't get it back till a little bit into Return of the King. So, yeah, he should have got it halfway through Fellowship, but they changed that. I don't know why they changed that in the movie. They never mentioned it in any of the special features, which is kind of weird. So, yeah, they never mentioned the reason why. So, kind of irritated about that, but anyways. Um, so he got it then, and he got it during the many, many months that they spent just sitting in Rivendell doing nothing. I mean, they really just were, well, the hobbits were kind of doing nothing for a couple of months, basically waiting for winter to be over. I think it was even a little over a year, to be honest. It wasn't too long. It wasn't like years and years, but I think it might have been like a year and a half or something. They were there a long time in Rivendell. Um, but anyways, eventually they do leave. Aragorn has his sword, um, and they head south. Um, Pretty much, it goes pretty well like the movie goes for the first little bit. They encounter some spies of Sauron. There's actually a fight in the book, which there isn't in the movie. Um, so there is actually a fight before they go to cross the mountains. Just kind of a little skirmish, nothing big. They basically all form a circle to protect the hobbits, from what I remember. But that was taken out, but it wasn't much of a fight. More of an introduction for the hobbits to, hey, there's combat out there, and this is serious. I mean, yeah, they had their run-ins with the ring wraiths before, but this was their first serious battle against things. So that really, it was kind of a wake-up call for them. Anyways, after that, they went over the mountains just the same, but when they came back, there's a couple of parts that they did cut out. Um, Boromir and Aragorn actually shoveled a path for the hobbits and Gimli with their bare hands, because this was like 3-4 feet of snow, and the hobbits are like 2 foot something. You know, they're close to 3 foot, but they're like two something, and maybe a little taller, but they're really short. And Gimli's not much taller, and this was snow high enough to bury them. Gimli might have been okay, but it would have been really hard on him. The hobbits would have been done if they didn't have help. And Legolas, which they did get this part right, Legolas was walking on top of the snow. That was accurate. I was happy that they did at least get that much right. But yeah, they actually dug a path with their own bare hands, and I think it was Aragorn, it might have been Boromir, actually said at the end that after it was complimented on how good a job they did, that yeah, but a lesser man with a spade would have fared better, which was a really cool quote from the book that I really liked. Um, Kind of mad that they did not include that in the movie. So, yeah. Anyways, after that, they do indeed go to Moria, and that's mostly accurate. However, the whole thing with how they get the door open was different. In the movie, they gave the credit to Frodo for figuring it out. However, in the book, it was all Gandalf. It took him a while, just like it did in the movie, but he got it on his own. He didn't need help from a hobbit to figure that out, because Gandalf's freaking smart. Of course, he's going to be the one to figure it out. And once they get inside, things go pretty much the same. Um, Not a whole lot of differences at all, really, in there that I noticed. Um, Gollum shows up there just right. I mean, you don't actually see him, but you sense his presence. Uh, it goes pretty much the same for the most part. It's been a while since I've read it, but I don't remember anything huge different. The biggest difference really is when they finally get out of Moria and the whole thing where Gandalf falls. It's not a big difference, but it became such a huge quote. The whole big quote of Gandalf's right there. The whole "You shall not pass." Not actually what he says in the book. He actually says "You cannot pass," which he does say in the movie before saying "You shall not pass." But he says it kind of quiet, and the Balrog doesn't really he doesn't really do anything about it. It just kind of goes unheeded. Then with the "You shall not pass," he slams his staff down, and the bridge collapses. You know that is, he should have just said "You cannot pass." My guess is that was just sort of a slip of the tongue for Ian McKellen that Ian McKellen, the guy who played Gandalf. My guess is it was a slip of the tongue on his part that wasn't caught. Um, that's my guess, seeing as it's only one word different. However, it could have been a script thing. I'm not sure. But that definitely was a difference, and I wasn't happy that they did that. I mean, yeah, it's a big quote, but that's not what the book said, and I don't really see the reason for changing that. So, yeah, and they don't mention it in the bonus features at all, because I've watched all the bonus features, and trust me, there's a lot of them. And yeah, I didn't see any reason why they did that anywhere in the bonus features. So, anyways, after that, um, pretty much normal. They didn't change a whole lot up until you get to Lothlorien. Once they start getting close, it actually came to a point where, in order to get in, well, one, there was a whole big thing there. There's this Gollum was stalking them. They had to try and get rid of him. There was orcs stalking them. There was a big thing with Lothlorien. They were actually in the woods for probably a week or so before they actually got there, and camping out in trees and stuff, trying to avoid the elves, which apparently wasn't working. They just thought it was. And anyways, eventually it got to a point where the elves revealed themselves and said that they could go in, but they had to blindfold Gimli in order for them to be allowed in, which Gimli would not have that. He refused to be blindfolded, which Aragorn, seeing that Gimli's a dwarf and very stubborn, he wasn't going to budge, and that the elves, there was no way they were going to let him in with that. I mean, they clearly had the upper hand. They very much outnumbered them, and it was their backyard, so yeah, they definitely had the upper hand there. So in his wisdom, he said, "Okay, fine, but blindfold all of us instead," which Legolas did not like that idea. Uh, he only went along with it because he really respected Aragorn. But Legolas was really not fond of being blindfolded um, to the land of his kin. And they didn't want to blindfold him either, but Aragorn insisted because um, Gimli refused. If uh, Legolas wasn't blindfolded, Gimli would not be blindfolded. So they eventually got everyone blindfolded and walked him in, which was significant. So finally, they all get into Lothlorien, and there was one big difference was when Galadriel showed Frodo the vision. That was actually very much different. Um, Basically, in the book, well, in the movie, they did it as kind of this is what might have been, and they show the whole thing with Hobbiton under siege and the Shire just in ruins and all that. But in the book, he sees that, but that's not what it is. It's actually a vision of what's going on in the Shire, because Saruman actually has the Shire under his control, and it pretty well enslaved it. So that was a big, big difference. The rest of it was pretty accurate. The whole thing with the rings, definitely accurate. Um, Pretty spot on. Now, the gifts were a little bit different. Sam, the rope was not his gift. That was just something he found on the boat. And pretty much the whole way up until Lothlorien, he was just complaining, man, I wish I had rope. Man, I wish I had rope. I can't believe I forgot my rope. So he's really excited that he had rope. So that was a big deal that he found that there was happened to be rope in the boat. But that was not his gift. His gift was actually a seed and some dirt. That was his um, that was his gift. So a seed from one of the trees there, and some dirt from Lothlorien. In addition, they also spent an insane amount of time in Lothlorien. Again, that's a big change that they made in a lot of these. Just how much time passed. Um, Also, well, I guess that was kind of the big one, is just the sheer amount of time that passed. In addition, the whole thing with Legolas and Gimli, it kind of shows in the movies, but they don't really show it concrete. But that's actually where Legolas and Gimli become friends. They were at odds pretty much the whole way. I mean, they show it in the movie. They're at odds all the way before that, and are friends every time after. But they don't show how it happened. But it happened at Lothlorien. They became friends at Lothlorien in their quite a bit of time that they spent there. That was pretty accurate. Gimli's gift they definitely had dead on, which I really appreciated that they did that. That was really awesome. Um, what else? So anyways, once they left Lothlorien, um, the Fellowship did indeed break up. But they did that completely different. Um, in the movie, well, in the book, it's so much different. Frodo actually puts on the ring and enters into the Wraith world and has the ring on for quite some time. Uh, he's actually, which is what draws everything towards them. That's what draws the orcs, is the ring that Frodo's wearing. Um, and Aragorn does not meet up with Frodo after they split up, after he leaves the group. Well, and also Frodo, they knew he left. It was Boromir that they were worried about when he left, because they thought he might be bugging Frodo. So that much was very much changed. Frodo actually took a minute to figure out what he was going to do next. After that, he decided to leave towards Mordor on his own. So he went to Mordor all by himself, um, and Sam actually saw his footprints walking towards the boat, and the boat going away, and do that. He was invisible during that time, so that was definitely a big change. Also, while he was sitting on top of the rock pondering, um, he actually had Gandalf. Well, you don't know it's Gandalf till much, much later, but he actually had a little bit of a war with Sauron, and Gandalf frees him from that. Uh, so that much was very much different. In addition, well, yeah, in addition, the whole rest of the scene with the hobbits and all that, that actually didn't come in until um, the Return of the Two Towers. So that's definitely different. You know what? I'll save that for the next video, partially because I'm running out of time. So definitely a big difference. Like that whole thing, the whole thing with Boromir dying and the hobbits getting captured, all actually part of the Two Towers. So definitely a big difference. Anyways, tell me what you think of the video. I'd love to hear it, so leave that in the comments so I know. If you like the video, hit the like button. I'm not going to know that you like the video if you don't hit the like button. Subscribe to my channel for more awesome videos. I'll be doing the Two Towers and the Return of the King at some point, so keep an eye out for that. That's going to be a little while though. But yeah, like I say, subscribe to my channel. Anyways, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.